Hi everyone, welcome to September's lecture of the ad hoc group 3, Food Culture and Society of the Indian Sociological Society. I'm very happy to have Dr. Richard Kamei with us today, who is going to talk about masculinity and the Rongmei Naga's custom of eating pig testicles. This is our endeavor to bring different kinds of diverse lectures and topics around food to you from particularly a sociological perspective. And I'm extremely grateful to the speaker for taking time out, considering that he has to travel for fieldwork tomorrow. So he will speak for around 30 to 35 minutes, followed by a Q&A. You can either put your questions in the chat box or unmute yourself and ask the speaker yourself. So, Dr. Kamai, maybe, you can take over and start the talk.
Thank you so much, Dr. Padgiri, for the invitation to come and speak on my recent research on food practice amongst the Rongmei Naga. So as my talk is titled Masculinity and the Rongmei Naga's Custom of Eating Pig Testicles. Here I would like to start with a small note that the consumption of pig testicles amongst the Rongmei Naga tribe may come across as provocative, or it can become across as something that's comical. But to the Rongmei Naga tribe, it's a part of their way of life, and they embody along with the consumption of pig testicles. So it's very much a part of their lived experience. So with that note, I would like to uh, begin my talk, and I'm trying to hover to the next slide. It seems to be not working. I'm
I'm so
trying to.
sorry. I actually forgot to introduce the speaker. He teaches anthropology at Royal Thimphu College, Bhutan. I'm really sorry for that oversight. Now, please begin. Yes.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, thank you so much for the introductions. Yeah. So yeah, as I have just stated about how the consumption of pig testicles amongst the Rongmei Naga is a part of their everyday life, and then how they had lived experience around it. So I would like to begin by mentioning that I use autoethnography in conducting this research to understand about the customs surrounding the castration of pig, and also the consumption of pig testicles. So I draw from my own experience, which is my own lived experience, as I myself also belongs to the Rongmei Naga, and I had conducted several interviews and conversations with the residents of Namthalong village of Imphal, Manipur. And as I mentioned this, my study was conducted in my own village, which is Namthalong. So I have conducted this research uh, in the year 2023, 2024, and 2025, where I got an opportunity to conduct repeated interviews with the respondents that I have already interacted and had conversations. And moreover, as I mentioned that I use autoethnography in my research, I would also like to state that I spent my childhood in the Namthalong village, which lies in the heart of Imphal. So with that statement, I would now like to come to why pork is very important in the way of life amongst the Rongmei Naga. So for the Rongmei Naga, pork is associated with the community feast during festival ceremonies and rituals. And even during the biggest festival of the Rongmei Naga, which is the Gangai festival, the elderly of the village, they observe the pig spleen to make a predictions about the well-being of the village and the villagers. And moreover, people in the Namthalong village, they use their backyards to rear pigs to sustain Rongmei custom, culture, and religion, and also for economic purposes. So with that, I would now like to also provide a short profile or a background of the Rongmei Naga people. So when it comes to the profile of the Rongmei Naga people, traditionally they follow oral traditions where they pass down their knowledge from one generation to another generation, and this knowledge also allows them to stay connected to their land, to their ancestor, to their surroundings, and also to the spirits. But however, with the emergence of colonialisms, it brought in major changes into the Rongmei Naga and in their surroundings. And some of the major changes that have come into the Rongmei Naga is the spread of Christianity and modernity. And with that major changes, the Rongmei Naga undergo a major shift. And as of today, around 80% of the Rongmei Naga tribe, they follow Christianity. However, the remaining proportion of the Rongmei Naga who do not follow Christianity, they still stick to their indigenous religion, which today it is known by the name Tinkau Ragong Chabrek. And and from the literature that I had covered, I had also come across, and also from my own experience, I had witnessed that the introduction of Christianity rather consolidated the norm of patriarchy, which I would like to reflect, through the discussions of my finding. And while I'm at it, I would also like to mention that amongst the Rongmei Naga tribe who hold on to their indigenous religion, which is Tinkau Ragong Chabrek, amongst them, masculinity continues to be shaped by a strong connection between culture, spirituality, and communal responsibilities. So, with that, I would go towards the main sections of my research. And here I would also like to mention that the fact that how I investigate about masculinity amongst the Rongmei Naga tribe should not be construed as a promotion of the masculinity or a normalization of the masculinity present amongst the Rongmei Naga tribe. My research purpose is to present about the reality that is present amongst the Rongmei Naga tribe. So so through the now I would like to take towards the direction of food and its practice. So when it comes to food, amongst the Rongmei Naga tribe also, food plays a central role in shaping how people understand and express gender, power, and belonging, which also means that eating, cooking, slaughtering, and sharing, they are not a neutral acts, but rather they are culturally encoded practices that both express and reproduce power, hierarchy, and belonging. So, by grounding masculinity in the practices surrounding food amongst the Rongmei Naga and its preparation, this research also aims to illustrate how gender is inscribed and reworked through embodied engagement with food, identity, and community. In doing so, it positions masculinity not as a fixed identity, but as a relational and dynamic practice continually shaped by tradition and change. And with that, I would now like to speak briefly about the setting of the Namthalong village where I conducted this research. So Namthalong village is inhabited by the members of the Rongmei tribe, also known as Kabui, and they come under Zelengrong community, and they are also a part of the Naga tribal community. And the Namthalong village, they still hold on to their indigenous religion, which is Tingka Ragong Chabrek, which I had already mentioned, and this is widely practiced in the village. So because of the existence of their indigenous religions, the village institutions are still intact and they still continue to play a very powerful role in Namthalong village. So these village institutions are in the form of Khangchu, Luchu, and Paikai. So these three institutions in the village, they still have a dominating role in the village. And when it comes to the activities of the Rongmei Naga, traditionally, they practice agriculture, pig farming, brewing and selling alcohol, handloom weaving. These are the traditional livelihood activities which also exist in Namthalong. And particularly, pig farming is significant in the Rongmei Naga households because the rearing of pigs are seen as the mainstay of adhering to their culture and also allowing to perform their social practice and also to keeping alive their belief system. And the two institutions, which is particularly the male dormitory, Khungchu, and also Paikai, they play a very crucial role in shaping what are considered man's duties and thus ensuring that the men folk in the village they acquire skills vital for the village life, which includes household constructions, fire making, animal husbandry, to name some of the various other activities that is a part and parcel of the life of the Namthalong village. and and in Namthalong village, there's a local variant for masculinity where they often go by the term Gan Mejat Patkhang, which can be loosely translated as becoming uh, or becoming manly. And this masculinity concept amongst the Rongmei Naga in Namthalong village, Gan Mejat Patkhang, this emphasizes adherence to specific roles and responsibilities in articulating man's social and political lives. And this articulation is deeply embedded in both the village and family levels, with roles determined by institutions such as the male dormitory, female dormitory, and traditional customs. And with that, the expectations placed on men extend beyond personal notion of machismo. Rather, the masculinity present amongst the Rongmei Naga of the Namthalong, however, it's more about responsibility towards communal life, which reinforce the values of Rongmei nationhood, kinship, the way how they cultivate rice, the way how they harvest rice, and also the religiosity aspect. So, so here I will move to one of the accounts from my autoethnography, which I had also, highlighted as an outcome of my research. So here I would like to mention that as someone, who grew up in Namdhalong village, I was socialized into performing duties for the village during my formative years. And by performing these duties, it instilled in me a sense of belonging and bonding, which in turn made me and also my friends and all of us stay connected to our indigenous identity. So, by that sense, Gan Mijat Patkhang, the local variant of masculinity present in our community, requires men to fulfill designated tasks such as pig rearing, which involves acquiring skills like catching the pig, killing the pig, chopping the meat, and also cooking pork for community feasts, ceremonies, and rituals. So that also conveys strongly that the masculinity present amongst the Rongmei Naga tribe is beyond individual expressions of masculinity. Rather, this ideal can be seen by the Rongmei as fostering a sense of community spirit and contributing to the overall well-being of the village. So with that explanation about the notion of masculinity, which is Ganmijat Patkang, here I would like to open up about the custom of pig castration, which is present amongst the Rongmei Naga in the Namthalong village. So this practice of castration has also name in the Namthalong village or amongst the Rongmei people, which goes by the term Gagdai Semai. So the Gagdai Semai or the pig castration is performed to improve the pig's growth and also to ensure that the quality of meat or the pork that will be produced when they become an adult, they become a good one which is devoid of smell from uncastrated pig. So the castration of the pig, here it serves to enhancing the growth of pig and also to ensure that the meat does not smell. So this practice is believed to also help calm male pigs, preventing them from becoming disruptive and noisy when they become an adult, especially in the company of female pigs. So an uncastrated male pig is also considered as possessing unruly behavior, which in turn means also providing difficulty for the owner of the pig farming, to manage the male pigs that are uncastrated. So the pig farmers believe that Gagdai Semai makes male pigs more docile and less active, contributing to their rapid growth and ultimately leading to higher earnings for the pig farm. So this also conveys that Gagda Isemai, or the castration of pig, also contributes to making a male pig a good company around female pigs. So I would also like to mention that Gagda Isemai, when it comes to the castration of pig, here in the Rongmei village and in the Namthalong village, the castration of pig is performed exclusively by men from the past. And here, drawing on my own lived experience when I was younger, starting from the age of around 12, I participated in the Gagdai Semai, or the pig castration, as this was my responsibility as a son in my family. Even though I have three elder sisters, but the honors came to me, to participate in the castration of pig, which is assigned by my father. And once the castration was completed, my father would stitch up the pigs, and the removed testicles were then roasted and offered to me and my younger brother as food. And we were also informed that the testicles contain nutrients that help to achieve gan mejat patkhang. The notion of masculinity present amongst the Rongmei Naga. And my experience of consumption of pig testicle, and then how it is being seen as how it will contribute to our masculinity, is also being affirmed by my friends and cousins whom I grew up in the village. So the castrating of male pigs to maintain the quality of the pork and ensure the well-being of the herd has long been integral to the community's relationship to the land, livestock, and spiritual belief. And the pig, considered a sacred animal in Rongmei culture and a major part of the Rongmei diet, symbolizes both sustenance and connection to the spiritual world. And the practice of consuming pig testicle is culturally more prevalent amongst the male children than amongst the female children, which also reinforce the notion that the consumption of pig testicles nurture masculinity. So from here onwards, I would like to discuss the findings, that I have produced from my research, where I would like to take my discussions towards the directions of how the Rongmei community have become in relations to pig castrations and also the consumption of pig testicles in today's times. So from my conversations and interviews, uh, I have found out that when it comes to the consumption of pig testicle, some of my respondents have informed me that though traditionally it is being offered only to the male children, some of my respondents mentioned to me that in some family, the pig testicle is also being offered to the young female children as food. So which I see it as like how the traditions around the consumption of pig testicles, which I grew up, seeing it as how it is exclusive to male children. So with these findings, it indicates that there's some degree of flexibility when it comes to the consumption of pig testicles. Though traditionally, it builds around the notion that it should be offered only to the male children. So the respondents' accounts clearly indicates that the the masculinity surrounding the consumption of pig testicle has some degree of flexibility in accommodating female children as well. And the other major findings from my research also uh, also makes me stay aware about the changes that is happening in the Namthalong village in the last few decades. So in the last few decades, there's rapid urbanization taking place in Imphal, and also how it also happening in the Namthalong village. So because of this rapid changes in the last few decades, the traditional livelihood activities which I mentioned at the start, which ranges from agricultural activity to handloom weaving to selling of alcohol and to rearing of pig for economic purpose. So these are also undergoing shift. And the major changes is that that agricultural activity has been completely given up in today's times, and this is now being replaced by replaced by salaried and white collar jobs. And with this shift taking place in Namdalong village, so people are increasingly normalizing the economic well-being from taking up jobs and also making a shift from their traditional livelihood activities. So in response to this, increasingly, I mean, I found out that that less number of households, I mean, today, I mean, they are rearing pigs. But however, the importance of pig rearing in relation to their way of life and also for economic purpose, and also how pork still continues to hold an important place when it comes to its consumption for ceremonies and for rituals. So because of that factor, even if lesser number of households are rearing pigs, it led to commercializations of pig rearing. So which means that means that those fewer number of households that are rearing pig, they started to rear even more pigs because they see that there's a commercial value. So with the increased rearing of pigs amongst those households that still continue to rear pigs, from my interactions and my interview, I mean, I found out that when it comes to the castration of male pig when they are younger, because now that they are rearing more pigs, here the castration of pigs, which is traditionally performed exclusively by men, so now that they are rearing more pigs, so they require more assistance. So as they require more assistance, my findings tells me that that the requirement for the assistance now, I mean, it reach out to women for assistance for successful castrations. So these findings inform strongly that women have started to participate in pig castrations. But however, the findings also inform me that when it comes to the castration of pig, the main task of castration for man remains intact, which is when it comes to the role of uh, cutting, stitching, piercing. So these tasks are still intact with men. However, when it comes to the assistance of women, the assistance of women is confined around holding the pigs. I mean, to ensure that the pig the pig does not disrupt the process of pig castrations. So, so even if the main tasks of pig castrations still, I mean, resides with men, but the fact that how it started to allows women to participate in pig castrations in response to the economic necessity also, I mean, tells us that the masculinity surrounding pig castration has that flexibility to allow women to start participating. So this, I see it as how this participation by women in pig castrations signals a shift towards a more fluid form of masculinity, where the economic necessity in the contemporary period have started to soften the rigid gender boundaries. And also I also look into other food practices to study about the masculinity attached to it. So be it the rice consumption, be it the alcohol consumptions. So in all of these practices also, I mean, my findings informs me that the masculinity that surrounds rice consumptions, the consumption of alcohol, they also have fluidity when it comes to masculinity, which accommodates women. And plus, uh, from my findings, I inquire about if there are any other, I mean, testicle consumptions amongst the Rongmei Naga. Yeah, my informant narrated to me that the testicles of the rooster is consumed by the elderly. And when I inquired, I mean, whether the consumption of the rooster testicles, whether it is on, or whether there's any distinctions between the men and women, I was informed that both elderly men and women equally consumes the testicle of rooster from before. So so all of these findings, I mean, from my research, I mean, strongly conveys that the masculinity present amongst the Rongmei Naga tribe is not rigid. Rather, it's very flexible, and how it is also responsive to the changes that is coming into the Rongmei Naga of Namthalong village. So, so with that, I mean, I would like to move towards the conclusive remarks from my research, where I would like to emphasize on few main points, which is while the core aspects of masculinity tied to the semi or the pig castration remain intact, the participation of women challenges the rigid boundaries traditionally associated with gender roles in this practice. And this fluidity reflects the adaptability of the Rongmei Naga's cultural practices, suggesting that gender roles in the community are not fixed, but are instead subject to negotiation and change. And masculinity within the Rongmei Naga community is not merely an individual attribute, but a collective expression intertwined with kinship, spirituality, and the agrarian traditions. While Rongmei Naga masculinity has historically been tied to gender food practices that prioritize men, such as the consumption of pig testicles and various other food practices. So all of these practices are not entirely rigid. And plus, the evolving roles of women in assisting with Gagda Isemai and also the various flexibility in the household food practices suggests that masculinity within the Rongmei Naga community is adaptable, responsive to socio-economic and the cultural changes. So with that note, I mean, I would like to come to the end of my lecture about my research on masculinity surrounding pig castration and the consumption of pig testicle present among the Rongmei Naga community.
Thank you, Dr. Kamai, for that
Yes.
talk. And I'll open the floor for Q&A. So if you have any questions, you can either put it in the chat box or you can also unmute yourself and ask your question. So by the time I think there are questions, I can ask you one.
Yes.
You talk very explicitly about the relationship between masculinity and eating, pig testicles. Do you see any interconnections between femininity and food practices amongst the community of Rongmei Nagas?
Yeah, yeah. Besides, the masculinity attached to the consumption of pig testicles, the femininity aspect is also attached in the food practice presence amongst the Rongmei Naga. For example, when it comes to the consumption of the scorched rice, uh, women are being seen as someone who should consume the scorched rice. But however, during my finding, even if the femininity aspect is present with the consumption of scorched rice, my finding also informed me that men are also equally consuming the scorched rice. So that is one of the example about the femininity aspects present amongst the Rongmei Naga when it comes to the food practices.
Okay. So yes, if any of you have any questions, please
I
go
have a
ahead.
question.
Yes, yes,
If I
Kiran.
may.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thanks for this lovely presentation. A very quick question. Uh, is the act of slaughtering itself, is it changing now with the other forms of slaughter? I mean, more market driven or mechanized and so on and so forth. So the traditions must be also changing because there may be symbolic slaughter. Pig may be replaced with something else. So is there a such thing? That is one question. The other one is you mentioned a rooster.
Yeah.
Rooster testicles. I'm just trying to imagine that would be difficult to locate or something because we do slaughter roosters and I've actually watched them and I never thought of them in terms of male female as such. Other than roosters, are there any other animals?
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much for your thoughtful questions regarding the slaughtering practice. The way how the animals are being slaughtered. Yeah, yeah. Specific to the slaughtering of pig. the way how we have been slaughtering pig traditionally, I mean, is still intact. So, and the elderly sees that the way how we slaughter pig is, I mean, to put it in what I mean, the elderly say in my village, they say that it's the least form of torture to slaughter pig. So our traditional form of slaughtering pig is usually uh, by hitting with a heavy rod just behind their earlobes. So one knock, I mean, will kill the will kill the pig immediately. So our elderly often, I mean, taught us that we have to adhere to that practice. So if some of us uh, who are not capable of killing the pig properly, and if one finds themselves in killing the pig by hitting on the head of the pig repeatedly, elder often scolded us, saying that, I mean, we are rather torturing the pig instead of slaughtering. So as they see that the traditional way of killing the pig, I mean, with one knock and then how they die instantly, I mean, they see that that's the safest way of killing the pig. So that tradition surrounding the slaughtering is still intact in my village. And yeah, regarding the rooster testicles, yeah, this was narrated to me by my informant, where I was being informed that the elderly, especially the elder men and women, how they consume the the rooster testicles equally. So besides, I mean, I'm not aware of the consumption of other animal testicle. So from my findings, I mean, I would, yeah, safely say that I mean, it is only surrounding pig and rooster when it comes to the consumption of testicles. I hope I answer your questions.
Yes, you have. Thank you.
There is a question in the chat box. When the pig testicles are being offered to a particular male in a family, are they being chosen based on elderliness?
Uh, I think, yeah, when it comes to my family, because I mean, we are only two brothers. So from my lived experience, I mean, yeah, because yeah, the pig testicles always comes in the two, so it's automatically offered to me and my younger brother. But from my friends, I mean, I found out that those families that have like 6 to 7 brothers, so it often, I mean, starts from the elderly. So the elderly also, when they becomes adolescents, or when they are in their teenage, I mean, teenage, when we enter that stage, I mean, people in my village, I mean, they gradually stop consuming pig testicles when they become conscious that yeah, it's to do with the reproductive organ of pig. So when one is in adolescent stage and becoming conscious, they stop eating. But to the younger sons in the family, if they have many sons, it first go down from the elder amongst them. Then if there's only two testicle, then it will go only to the eldermost amongst the sons in the family.
Yes, there are many questions in the chat box. One
Mm.
is about if you know any food myths about women eating pig testicles.
Uh, yeah, to that one, I mean, I inquired about those respondents who share with me that how the pig testicles are also being offered to female. When I inquired, I mean, whether they are open about it, or 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 whether they share it to their friends that they consume pig testicles and so on. I mean, I was being informed that those young female who are being offered pig testicle and then who consumes, I mean, they often conceal it, because they themselves are also aware that, I mean, sharing it with others that they consume pig testicle and all that, because that invites a joke around it, or other, I mean, they are aware that, I mean, other may rebuke them for eating pig testicles. So they are this notion of staying, I mean, silent around the consumption of pig testicles amongst the young female, I mean, who consume pig testicle.
Right. Uh, Dikshita is asking if there is a particular time when the pigs are castrated And has there been any occasion when women have to do it when the men are not available? For instance, if they have migrated outside for jobs and education.
Yeah. Yeah, to the first one, when it comes to at what stage of the life of pig, usually when they are into second or third months. So the young pig, when they started developing pig testicles, I mean, we see that it's an ideal time to castrate them, because they have this notion that when they become older, the kind of pain and the kind of struggle with the which the pig will undergo, I mean, can lead to how the pig can die from it. So when they are younger, and then when the testicles started developing, we see that that's the ideal time to do castration. And then we also take it as, I mean, it will also cause lesser pain, which might cause more pain when they become adult. So usually by the second or the third month, I mean, they are usually castrated. And to the second one, when it comes to, uh, yeah, what was the second one? I just forgot.
So she's asking if women have to do it in case the men are not available.
Yeah, there are also some households where women are the owner of the pig farming. But when it comes to the pig castrations, I mean, it will always be men who will perform. So for a particular households where there are no male in their family, the women, I mean, they will reach out uh, to other men in the village who knows how to perform pig castrations. So they reach out to other men folk. And when it comes to the increased frequency of pig castrations, how a particular household started to rear more pigs, which requires them to castrate more. So in such scenario, that particular household, I mean, they will take help from the other villagers to come and assist in pig castration.
Yeah, I have.
Ambika has a question. Did the conversion of Christianity affect the consumption of pig testicles in the community? And if the consumption continues, does the gender identity affect it in the converted families too?
Yeah, when it comes to the rearing of pig, yeah, our village is just adjacent to my own community, but they follow Christianity. So during the time when I was growing up, the the number of households that rear pig is very less amongst those Rongmei community who have embraced Christianity. But they also have yeah, this custom of the consumption of pig testicle, but the frequency is very less. So that I see that, I mean, that also uh, in some way or the other way influence the gender dimensions, I mean, surrounding pig testicles.
Is there a class dimension to the tradition of slaughtering and consumption of pig testicles?
No, I have not experienced this in my village about the class basis. When it comes to the slaughtering of pig, the roles and responsibilities comes down to each and every one of us equally, where we are being obligated to perform the roles designated to us. For example, if we are being designated to contribute to the family in terms of helping them in funeral, we are all obligated to go and contribute our roles and responsibility. Likewise in the ceremonies in the feast, so there's no class dimension when it comes to performing our duties. That also includes slaughtering of animal, likewise for the consumption of pig testicle as well.
Yeah, one question.
Yeah, I think someone has a
Yes.
question, right?
Sure.
Dr. Richard, thank you for the talk.
Yes.
I just have one question regarding, yeah, related to what you have talked about, the skill that it, the skill which usually which is associated with the male members. So my question is the skill or ability to castrate a pig considered a requirement for every male member of the village to be considered masculine? Is there a requirement? Is that a requirement for every male member, or how is it? How does it
Yeah,
function?
yeah, that has been the norm in the past, but as I say that the lesser and lesser number of households are not into rearing a pig in today's times. So there's a shift going around that notion as well. In the past, male are expected to know the skill of castrating a pig. But as of today, with in response to the various changes happening, so the number of men, I mean, who knows the skill of castrating a pig is also becoming lesser and lesser. But however, as the collective notion in the village is still strong, so I mean, people in the village, I mean, they still reach out to each other when it comes to the castrating of pig in terms of assistance. But yes, I mean, in today's times, I mean, yeah, that is also slowly taking a shift.
Okay, I think we can wrap up since there are no more questions. Thank you, Dr. Richard, for that engaging talk. I have also shared the link to your paper in the chat box. So those who want to, read it, they can use that link to access it. And thank you once again for joining today. Thank you to our speaker as well.
Thank you so much for the invitation to come and speak about my research.